this to end a week where Mr. Trump called for the military to handle his domestic political opponents, said that infamous Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein got, quote, schlonged, called Kamala Harris a, quote, shit vice president, canceled scheduled interviews, continued to push lies about the 2020 election, including the notion that January 6th was a government-staged riot, also called January 6th, quote, a day of love, compared the January 6th defendants to Japanese Americans in internment camps during World War II, and at one rally decided to, instead of speak, dance and sway on stage for 39 minutes.
It's a big problem. I mean, black voters constitute such a big part of the Democrat base. You take that out and the whole thing sort of falls over. And this is a result of some very simple question that President Trump has asked black voters since 2016. What the hell do you have to lose? And they've responded to that question thinking, well, you know, we keep voting Democrat and things just don't seem to get better. And so his support has gone from 8% in 2016 up to 12% of the black vote in 2020. And now, according to polls, he's somewhere at 20, maybe 23, 24% of the black vote. And if that sticks at Election Day, the Democrats are going to be in very big trouble. That is a very large chunk of their constituency to walk out of them. And the whole thing's going to come crashing down if those numbers hold up.
What is the plan to do about the food healthcare industry and getting the artificial foods banned in our urban communities that have less access to organic whole foods?
So, Bobby Kennedy, right? Everybody likes Bobby. He would be so perfect. He doesn't like artificial foods, and he doesn't like pesticides and all the stuff they put on them. No artificial foods. We don't want artificial. We have plenty of food. The food isn't our problem. And our farmers are great, and our farmers aren't allowed to do their job. You know, our farmers did great. 4 years ago, they were doing just about the best they've ever done. They're not doing well at all now. We want healthy foods. And a lot of things are going to be going. And I'll tell you, I'm going to have Bobby Kennedy involved in it. He's a great guy. He's a person that talks more about food and health than anything else. So I think that's cool. So we'll get it taken care of.
You're not, unfortunately. We have some predetermined questions, and hopefully I'll be able to ask some of the questions that might be in your head. I hope so.
And that we debate it out, have good, vigorous debates, have a good fight over policy. That's good for democracy. I call myself a joyful warrior.
How quickly do you expect to get results? Well, you know, in 2020, we had the results of our highest turnout election in Michigan history within 24 hours of the polls closing. The unofficial results were completed by 8 p.m. on Wednesday. So we're tracking that again this year. We do have more options to process ballots sooner than Election Day, which is where we were restricted in 2020. So I'm optimistic we could see results even sooner, but I would estimate end of the day on Wednesday as the best guess on how we'll perform. But that said, we will always prioritize accuracy and security over efficiency, understanding how much people will want those results. We're still going to make sure the process is secure and accurate before we put anything out to the public. But that said, we understand people's energy and excitement, and we'll be working hard to ensure those results are ready as soon as possible.
And so I think that we are facing a choice in this election. It's not about party. It's about right and wrong. And I certainly have many Republicans who will say to me, I can't be public. They do worry about a whole range of things, including violence, but they'll do the right thing. And I would just remind people, if you're at all concerned, you can vote your conscience and not ever have to say a word to anybody. And there will be millions of Republicans who do that on November 5th, vote for Vice President Harris.
Donald Trump putting on a little McDonald's costume because he thinks that's what people do. They're not trying to empathize with us. They are making fun of us. They are making fun of us. Donald Trump thinks that people who work at McDonald's are a joke. Elon Musk thinks that dangling money in front of a working person is a cute thing to do when the election of our lives is before us. Because that's what people and billionaires like that.
I'll tell you, and I know this is a controversial topic for many of us, I love Gen Z. Because we have Gen Zs in our lives. We have kids who are Gen Zs. It can be complicated, I know. I love Gen Z. What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid.
I don't understand how we got so toxic and just so divided and so bitter. And I get why sometimes people just don't want to pay attention to it. And we all have friends like that. We have family members who just like, you know, it's all a circus out there. I get that.
That restaurant wasn't even open. It was a stunt. Fake orders for fake customers. They even staged the drive-through.
On this issue of immigration, he has been an obstacle to fixing this problem. My proposal includes strengthening what we must do to ensure that we have an orderly and humane immigration system and that we fix what has been broken for a long time. It has transcended administrations, and it needs to be fixed.
But that's it. So, look, Elon's on that stage, jumping around, skipping like a dipshit on these things. You know it.
And it is because of my love for our country, and specifically because of the leadership that President Trump has brought to transform the Republican Party and bring it back to the party of the people and the party of peace, that I'm proud to stand here with you today, President Trump, and announce that I'm joining the Republican Party.
I know this sounds bizarre. It sounds like if I said this 5 years ago, you'd lock me up. We got to lock him up. Politically lock him up. Lock him out. That's what we have to do.
And I just wonder for anybody who heard that, like what they thought of that.
I was deeply offended. And it felt like a moment where it's like, you N-words better get in line and do what we say. And it felt like him as the czar of the Democratic Party coming down to say, go get these N-words in line. And the general tone of it was disgusting. It was abhorrent. I don't respect it. I didn't like nothing about it. And Kamala, 2 days after that, is like, we love our black men. We have programs and things that we're rolling out for them, and she rolled out policy.
Good cop, bad cop. You know, because
I'm tired of the good cop, bad cop. I'm tired of it.
Right now, we're talking about border security, and there's no Democrat talking about pathway to citizenship, an immigration relief, and the benefits that migrants bring to this country.
Oh, but there's no question that migrants bring. America is a country that was built in part by immigrants.
But people are concerned about their TPS, their DACA, we're talking about mass deportations.
I'm not talking about.
What do you stand on mass deportations? What's your stand there?
We need smart, humane immigration policy in America that includes a pathway to citizenship.
Donald Trump is the middle finger manifested in human form. And I think that the individuals who support him, you know, they might support him for other reasons as well. But I do think that one of the dominant reasons is that it's giving a middle finger to our political establishment, to our institutions. And a lot of Americans feel like those institutions and the political establishment has let them down, whether we're talking about the Democratic establishment or the Republican establishment.
From John Kelly's words, that Donald Trump is someone who, I quote, certainly falls into the general definition of fascist, who in fact vowed to be a dictator on day one and vowed to use the military as his personal militia to carry out his personal and political vendettas. Donald Trump is increasingly unhinged and unstable.
So I may not be quick to have the answer as soon as you ask it about a specific policy issue sometimes, because I'm going to want to research it. I'm going to want to study it. I'm kind of a nerd sometimes, I confess.
Why wasn't any of that done for the last 4 years?
Well, there was a lot that was done, but there's more to do, Anderson. And I'm pointing out things that need to be done, that haven't been done, but need to be done.
How can we differentiate your policy and your beliefs from that of Biden?
I know what home ownership means. Actually taking care of my mother when she was sick, and it was, as it turned out, dying from cancer. And I have raised children.
Is there something you can point to in your life, political life or in your life in the last 4 years, that you think is a mistake that you have learned from?
I mean, I've made many mistakes. And they range from, you know, if you've ever parented a child, you know you make lots of mistakes too. In my role as vice president, I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well versed on issues, and I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
Would you call the border secure?
The border is secure.
You're confident this border is secure?
We have a secure border. I never intended, nor will I ever allow America to have a border that is not secure.
90 days ago, Pelosi went to Biden and said, you need to step aside, and convinced him to do so. This is the second time the Democratic Party has circumvented democracy and chose.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. Hillary
We've
Clinton
No,
was chosen, and she had Bruce Springsteen too. And what happened to her? And now we've chosen.
Kevin, Hillary Clinton won a primary, okay? She won a primary. You may not
Nobody
like
could compete with her, even Bernie Sanders.
She won a primary.
Okay.
First of all, that's the first
So
thing.
did Kamala
The second
Harris
thing,
win a primary?
Listen, we have talked about this before.
What's wrong about talking about it tonight after what you just said?
Do you think that's really what matters to voters?
How many Democrats wish?
Hold on. Hang on a second.
Let's talk about what matters to voters. Do you really think voters care about the internecine primary process?
If you're a Democrat, you sure as hell care today.
I know that you are from Canada, but the primary process.
That's why I'm perfect for this. I have no skin in the game other than to get a great president.
It's not in the Constitution. The political parties can choose however they want to choose their nominee.
Right.
And as long as they meet the legal deadlines in the states where they are on the ballot, they can do it however they want.
And he has actually gained support when you look at the numbers, especially with key groups like black men. That is something that the Harris campaign has been working on. Why do you think he's gaining support then?
Any person that is thinking hard about their own position in the economy, their own future, would think that he offers a better deal. Some people support him because they like what he says. They like his belligerent attitude. They like his insulting. They may even occasionally believe some of his versions of alternative reality. Other people, I think, find him to be a strong man, and that's very attractive to certain voters.
You've said that Trump has a special connection with the people of
100%.
Pennsylvania. Why?
There's a difference between not understanding, but also acknowledging that it exists. And anybody spends time driving around and you can see the intensity. It's astonishing. I was doing an event in Indiana County, very, very red, and there was a superstore of Trump stuff, and it was 100 feet long, and it was dozens of T-shirts and hats and bumper stickers and all kinds of, I mean, it's like, where does this all come from? I mean, it was almost like Taylor Swift kind of swag. It's like of everything. It wasn't just a sign. It's the kinds of thing that has taken on its own life on that. And it's like something very special exists there. And that doesn't mean that I admire it. It's just like, it's real.
I feel like I heard more on this network about is Kamala Harris black than I do about, Donald Trump being a fascist.
Well,
am I wrong, Angela?
Honestly, that's bullshit. I'm sorry.
Oh, I like that.
That's no,
Go
that
ahead,
is that. No, I'm not. Look, I'm a huge fan of yours. Okay. But to say that we're sitting around discussing is Kamala Harris black, like
Oh,
I mean,
I've seen that. I've seen those
that's
roundtable
definitely
discussions a lot. Now
That's
that's
true.
bullshit, Anderson. For you to say that y'all don't have those conversations.
I've never asked somebody is.
Oh, I'm not saying
Kamala
you.
Harris
I said the network.
He said the network. He
I don't
did
think
say the
anyone
network.
I don't think any anchor on this network has been going around saying, "Is she black?"
Y'all have never had
Definitely, it's definitely
we have
been.
had. Look, I'm sure we have had, nutty people or people who have strongly held beliefs who I may disagree with, who somewhere on some panel have said something, but I will just speak up for what I do on the show. I do believe it's important to get people different viewpoints as long as they're willing to have a legitimate conversation. What I don't like are surrogates who come out and just spout talking points that they don't even believe, and those are people I tried to eliminate from having ever on the air again.
I think no network has honest conversations about Donald Trump. Nobody's had honest conversations about Donald Trump since 2016. I saw last night they were talking about, the double standard that exists between Donald Trump and the vice president, but it's always a double standard with Trump, whether it's with Hillary, whether it's, against Biden, now with Kamala. We talk about him being a threat to democracy, but we don't treat him like one.
I don't know what you've been watching, but I don't know of any Trump supporters out there or people who like him who are tuning in to me every night to try to get, to be validated in their opinion.
Kamala is never going to be doing that. Kamala doesn't know she's alive. If you watched her being interviewed by Allison Cooper the other night, who's a nice person. Do you know Allison Cooper? CNN fake news. Oh, she said, no, his name's Anderson. Oh, no. If you watch that interview, you would never want her as your president. She couldn't answer the simplest question. What's going to be the first thing you think about? What are you going to do? I grew up with a beautiful lawn. She said that in the debate, too, the same stuff. I had David Muir and that other one. I don't even know who the hell her name is. I don't want to know her name. Somebody said, oh, we'll get her name. So I don't want to know her name. Why would I want to know her name? Just say, Madam No Name. But they were hitting me left and right. They're the worst. David, you know Elon Musk? Yes. He endorsed me. By the way, he gave me the nicest endorsement, too. The tougher. He said, the country's going to fail. You should do the same thing, Joe, because you cannot be voting for Kamala. Kamala, you're not a Kamala person. I know you. I've watched you. I know him better than he is. You know what? Without speaking to you, I think I know you maybe almost as well as your wife. I have watched you for so many years. You're not a Kamala person. You're a Khabib person, but you're not a Kamala person. Nobody's going to know who Khabib is, but
they know who
he
Khabib
was.
is.
He was not bad, right? That guy.
Oh, he was phenomenal.
But that's your kind of
Your
person.
weave is getting wide. We're getting wide with this weave.
But isn't it
I want to
much
bring
better?
it back to tariffs.
But wait one second.
Everybody in politics has a vice that's much worse than alcoholism, is the way that I put it. But we
release the list.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
Like Tim Walz is very obviously gay. I look at him and I'm like, well, you're gay. And I'm sure I'll be attacked for saying that. Maybe he's not gay, but he certainly seems gay.
Right. And immediately say, where's your evidence?
Oh, I don't have any evidence. I'm just saying the guy looks super, super gay to me. But they're the ones always running on being like, it's great to be gay. Okay, if it's great to be gay, then why is it an attack on him for me to say that? And why would it be out of bounds to be like, hey, Tim Walz, you seem super gay. Are you gay? Have you ever slept with dudes? Like, if you ask that question, you'd be fired from your job.
You're just asking that now. It's very controversial, right?
But why would that be controversial? If there's nothing wrong with it, then why is it so offensive to ask that question?
Right.
I don't like. This doesn't make any sense.
I think ultimately, Democrats.
Who's the person that's number one on that invitation list?
Leonardo DiCaprio. That's why I'm voting for Kamala Harris.
I've tried to put my finger on what it is about Kamala Harris's the very fraudulent laugh that I find so off-putting.
Yeah.
And it's like the laugh of somebody who just made you really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But then tries to overcorrect by saying, "Oh, I'm just going to laugh at it."
Yes.
And then that's somehow going to make it better that I just stepped on your foot or ran into your car.
Yes.
Right. That's like the laugh of the Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
It's like the
or
person,
bankrupted the country.
Yeah. Or bankrupted the country. Yeah. All shapes and sizes of problems.
Open
but
the border and flood it.
Yeah.
Right.
It reminds me I think I've caused one car accident in my life. I was 16.
Yeah.
And it was late, it was dark. It was really like it had been raining.
Sure.
And so it was like a fender bender. Ran into this elderly couple, probably going 5 miles per hour.
Right.
And then I get out of the car and I'm like, ha ha ha, like trying to, it's okay, guys, we're all fine.
Yeah.
That's the Kamala Harris laugh.
We are fighting for America's future, and we understand the opportunity we have before us to turn the page on the fear
He said, what's going to happen if Trump wins the presidency? Will America be all right?
If Trump wins, America's going to be great again. And there will no longer be tampons in boys' locker rooms. There will no longer be boys and girls sports. And we're going to get our country back. If Trump doesn't win, our country is fucked to never come back, ever. It's the most important election in the entire
universe
of the United States.
All right. I'll call you later. Thanks for your input.
Hey, make sure that makes it on air. Don't cut it.
All right.
Okay, so according to your dad,
it is a very important election, JJ.
All those 10 people, including the former vice president, Mike Pence, all of these people have this horribly damaged worldview, and they're all just going after Donald Trump because they want to send people into war. That's really your argument?
Absolutely.
It's not like these are conservative.
Absolutely, that's my
These
argument.
are not conservative
Jake,
Republicans. These aren't conservative Republicans who are concerned about Donald Trump. They're not. That's not right.
All of these people, Jake, they came into office thinking that they could control Donald Trump. That when he said he wanted peace in the
Mike
world,
Pence thought he could control Donald Trump.
Yes, he did. And when he found out that he couldn't, they all turned on Donald Trump.
My only point is this. It's sad that we've lost Elon Musk. And I want to point out, 4 years ago, Elon Musk was an Andrew Yang Democrat.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I mean, he's done great stuff when it comes to climate, when it comes to space, et cetera. And
so was Trump, a Democrat.
Well,
he was.
Yeah, he was. So, but I just wonder if we look back on this period, there's no excuse for stuff that Elon Musk is doing, the stuff he says, he's irresponsible. But if progressives have a politics that says all white people are racist, all men are toxic, and all billionaires are evil, it's kind of hard to keep them on your side. And so we might want to think about, if you're chasing people out of the party, you can't be mad when they leave. And maybe if we had a different politics, we actually said dignity for everybody, everybody's respected, and we need you, more people might stay.
Yeah.
IMF today has warned that such policies will dent global growth. Can you elaborate more on the near-term economic impact of these policies and over a longer time horizon? How concerned are you about the potential impact of the dollar's status as the world's reserve currency?
Let's see. Kamala Harris has raised $2 for every $1 that has been raised by Donald Trump. That's because it's all coming from people like Bill Gates. They have all the money now. We have all the people. We are going to win this by a landslide.